Welcome everybody, my name is Wendy and you are watching Wendy Makes Art. Tonight we are going to paint on top of this. I'm not real sure how this stream is going to go. Our internet is acting a little weird and I have a feeling we may end up losing connection. So we're going to try it and kind of see where we go. I also don't know where my naughty cat Pogo is. And if she has anything to do with this episode, I am certain she is going to cause chaos, jump on the table, knock something over. So I have one cup with the lid. Ha ha ha. It's over here. 2 water cups, one to let her drink from, and the other one to use with my paintings. A chair that's not too far away because she tends to launch herself through the air. And then, oh, and look, you can see my vacuum cleaner in there. Great. So welcome. Have fun tonight. Hope you paint along or just kind of hang out for the fun of it. Let's see. I want to do these 5x7s. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my 5x7 template, which is just a little paper pad I have, just like that. I know that this is 5x7, so I'm going to come in here and mark this and then retape it. So I'm just going to tape right on top. I'll mark it with any kind of a pencil or watercolor pencil first. So I'm just coming here like this. I only need to mark these edges. And then I can lift this back up, put it away. Just last weekend I went through one of my drawer sets and organized my papers. That was very rewarding. Got rid of a lot of old art. I still have lots more to go through. And all I do is then take the artist tape and I tape along my new lines. So like right here to here, I want this just a hair smaller. I have the most that I'm cutting off on these 2 sides. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we prepped this and then I haven't done anything with it, as you can tell. But it was a piece of paper that I sprinkled Ken Austin's color dyes on, and then I also used, I have 2 different color dyes. Let me kind of show you what they are. These ones come in little powder things like Ken Oliver's. Ken Oliver Crafts Color Burst, and then the other brand is right below me, so I can pull them out. It's called Colorcraft Brusho Colors. And you sprinkle all of them on and use some water, and then before you know it, you've got a great big colorful background like this. And you can get all kinds of different colors and effects, but it gives you almost like an abstract underpainting, which is awesome. Hey, Annie C. Hey, Lebowski. Thank you guys for joining. I don't know what you're watching on, if it's on YouTube or Twitch, but welcome. We are dual streaming now, so you can follow me on either channel. On Twitch, it's Wendy Makes Art, and on YouTube, I'm fairly certain it's Wendy Fine Art, but I don't even know that for sure. So, and happy Turkey Week, everybody. Oh, I have one more to do. I just got distracted. I need to put one more of these. I have not figured out what painting I'm going to demo in February yet. I just haven't found the right image, and I think this weekend I just may go driving around looking at like very New Mexico scenes and try to find something that fits, because it has to be not too complicated, and that is my problem. Okay, so 2 options. Number 1, red watercolor pencil. Hopefully I can see it on here. Other option, watercolor stick, or I even change the colors. That would be really mixing things up since this is all bright colors anyway, but I still really like using the red. So I'm just gonna go with this. And I spent 15 minutes looking through images and couldn't decide. And so I decided that I was just gonna wing it tonight. Let's see what we got. We haven't done this one yet. Not my favorite, but I do like that it would have the green prickly pear tops on top of this pink. So we might be able to get some really neat colors going on with this. And I want to exaggerate the colors. So we're just going to go with it since it's already up here and it's not going to be hard to work with. There are a lot of shapes. So I'm going to make that background really just kind of, I don't know, what would I say? Generic, abstract-y, can't really tell what's back there. So we'll see. And we're going to start, and this is not going to be very visible. So let's grab a different color, something crazy. Maybe, maybe turquoise. Ooh, look at this. This is really pretty. Look at this. This is a turquoise Daniel Smith watercolor stick. It's actually, what color is it? Cobalt teal blue. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to start just with one prickly pear. It does not have to match this exactly. We're doing a very quick demo. So I just want to be able to draw some shapes, get the idea of it. This little guy is pretty much on its side. I'm going to change it a little bit. And then there's another piece that comes down in here. And this I'm moving over a little bit. Now this prickly pear part looks like it's connected to this guy. And I'll make it bigger than it is on my screen. And there is one back here, but do I want that? I do like that it's lighter, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And then maybe we'll turn some of these or make them a little bit of a different size. I'm going to use the same idea, but make them a comparable size to what I have up front. So when you guys are looking at this, just note I'm making some significant changes, and here she comes. Oh, we never can have a show without the pogo. Okay, Devil Cat has just arrived. What you doing, Pogues? Huh? Are you gonna tell the people hello? You are a terror. Okay, put this up in here. Kind of like the idea of these, and luckily the water is all clean, so she can have any of the water. She's waiting for me to say no, and Mommy was ready for you. Don't knock it over. Look at that. First thing she wanted to do is knock it over. So this guy has some shadows in it. I know you see part of a cat. Sorry about that. She is a naughty cat. Huh. Can you guys hear her drinking? Slurp, 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 slurp. See if she makes a mess on anything. All right. Got my paper towels. And here, if I turn me off, you can kind of see her drinking. Let's see if I can turn my webcam off. Do you see her? Well, you can only see her for, look, she's sticking her paws in it. Pogo, no, come on. Look over here. There she is. There she is, my naughty girl. You're so naughty. You're so naughty. Say hi to all the people. Try not to get everything wet. That's it. Drink out of both containers. She wants in everything. You can see her little tail down here. She's so, yeah, it's going to be my fault when she spills something. You are correct. definitely correct. I think I may need to kick her out. Huh? Are you going to get kicked out? Do you need to go to jail? Do you need to go hang out with Dad? Maybe? Listen, you're messing with my timing too. How can I ever time this when I've got the cat? I do love her tail. Like, just her tail showing up down here is so funny. Okay, turn me back on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, you have to either get down or get out of my stuff. One or the other. No, we're not sticking our paws in. She's just so naughty. If she weren't so cute, it would be difficult, but she is naughty, naughty. You are going to jail. Yep, you're done. You are done. Kitty jail. Kitty jail. Here we go. Getting kicked out. Yep. You're getting kicked out. You are. You're getting kicked out. Okay, so let's see what happens. She is going to be pretty upset about that. I did close the door. All right, so let's paint. I have messy gouaches, so I can stick some of these out here so you can see that, what I'm doing. And let's check this camera. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can get a better focus. I can't tell how focused it is. And that is on my webcam. Okay, so let's see. Let's put you on focus. So let me get this focused here, right to here maybe, or I take this out. I want it to focus on this and it's really struggling with these lines. Maybe I just give it this and then we'll go with that. So let's focus on that. And if I uncheck this, it should work. And hopefully once I put color on here, you guys will be able to see this a little better. I'm not sure, but we'll kind of play it by ear. Okay, so that being said, if I'm looking at these colors, I'm going to start with a basic palette with Hansa Yellow Light. Stick some of this on here. Some white. Some Pyro Scarlet. Let's see if I have a tube that is finishing up. No, I must have finished a tube, so we'll just use this one. And it's a little grubbly, meaning I just got stuff on my fingers. Not cool. That's okay. And I think I need, we're going to use a different kind of blue in this tonight. We're going to put this one out, which is the same. It's a cobalt turquoise light. And then I'm going to throw some ultramarine blue on here. So let's try our ultramarine blue. Okay, so this is where we're going to start, right after I clean my hand up. And I'm going to start with a large ish flat brush. So probably about, let's see, if this one is 3/4 of an inch, it's probably about a 1/2 inch brush is what I have in my hand. All right. So I'll mix a green, and this has a little bit of red in it. I'm fine with that. There is some red or some dye in here, and that will help kind of calm this color down a little bit. I want it to be pretty yellow. And then I pull a little bit of that scarlet in there so that it looks not quite so Shazam bright. Okay. It's almost got like a little bit of an ochre feel to it, and this is just going to be a nice base color, especially right in here. I like it on this one a lot. Let's look for these bright light highlights in here. Just something simple like that. Can change it up a little bit. I like that this section down here is a lot more yellow, and I may even add some more yellow than that because I don't know that you can really see the difference. Now, do you see what's happening? I'll come back in here and do a second layer. As this sits on top of the colors underneath, it's absorbing some of that and turning the color a little bit. So I will have to put more color on top as that works itself in. And then this has some bright lights, so I'm just going to do the patterns right in here. Again, it does not have to be perfect. Who's going to know how that light really sits in there or on there? So I'm putting these bright marks in. I'm going to mix a pretty bright version now. It's a lot more yellow. So on my palette over here, you'll see I have a bunch of different versions. And I'll just mix in with each of them. That's fine. I like how this has a bright edge in here. Just right along in there. And right along some of the tops of these. And then I might even bring in, let's see, this has an edge right there. It's like some backlight going on. And this in here. And I'm looking, I've got a bright edge here and in here. Now again, I'm going to go in and put other layers on here. You can leave some of the color underneath showing if you want. A really white pale color here. And start to lay even more on top. We'll see what happens with that. I want this to have a little bit of a blue tint to it. Pulling some of that turquoise in, right in there. And like I said, we've got to come in and add more layers because it's mixing with everything underneath. So I want another bright layer of color on top. And maybe a little bit in here and then here. Okay, so we kind of put the light in, and now let's put some of these darker shadow colors in. So I'm going to rinse this brush out. And now I'm just taking the ultramarine blue and some of the cobalt turquoise, I think that's what it was, light. Now I'm greening it up, but I also want to darken it. I don't want it warm though, so I've got to make sure that whatever I do, that the blue is stronger than the red, so that it's a fabulous shadow color, but not too warm. I still want it cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay these in here. This helps me define these shapes. So I'm coming in and I'm going, where's my darkest shadow color? In here. Back in here. I've got a nice dark shadow color right in here. This is actually really, really, really dark, probably darker than this one that I put in there even. And I can fix some of my shapes too. I can go, well, that needs to be a little more defined in there. This one got really nice and dark in its cutout part. And there's even like a little baby one that's hidden right in here. Just like that. Maybe some other shadows. And we'll fill this in, but I want some of this color in here. And a little bit even along some of those edges. And now I'm gonna make an even darker version. Maybe like that. Okay, and then I could put this idea of plants back here, but I really like kind of what's on there, and I may even try a cool gray on top of it to see what happens. So we'll kind of see what goes with that. Okay, so that's our darker side. Again, this too is lightening up quite a bit as it dries. So we'll need to do some adjustments most likely. All right, so we want something now that is more of a kind of an in-between. I want it to look natural. So we're gonna come in here. It is mixing. I have a lot of water in with this mix. And so I need to bring some more pigment in. Less water because it's mixing right on the surface with the red that's underneath. Oh, and you guys should hear my cat outside the door. She is just very upset. Oh, she's playing with the cords too. She's like, okay, I can do this. I'm just gonna mess with mommy's cords. She's crying. Poor thing. I'm such a big meanie, right? Such a meanie. Mom is so mean. Now I'm adjusting this green like up here. I'm lightening it a little bit. So I did adjust it up in there. This is where I said it was really mixing in with that red. And then I want a dark one. I'll go back to a dark color. And I'm just going to make this one kind of dark. Maybe that's too dark. I want them to be different on the different petals. So you get this abstract kind of landmass, but I still want to be able to tell kind of what it is. That would be nice. Okay, let's put some brighter colors in. Back to some lights and some brights. Now I'm going to see what I can use out, that I have out already, and before I get all, well, no, I need more yellow. So I do need more hands of yellow light. We're going to add some onto here. Because this one's a lot more yellow than some of the other stuff. So I'm just going to bring that nice bright color into that. And I like the idea of having lots of variation on this guy right here. I'm gonna give it a nice pale edge right along here. And this edge, if I can pull it off, is like almost white right along that one. Same in here. It's really, really like, let's see, this guy kind of comes down along this edge and has a light on it. So I can pick up some of the light that travels on these guys in here. It's kind of fun because it looks a little abstract. Anybody still with me? You guys are very quiet tonight. some of this bright along there and along these edges where it's backlit. Okay. And then let's go in here. I've got so many fabulous greens on my palette right now, which I absolutely love. So this guy right here needs brightened up. So we're gonna come in, mirror this edge right here, give him some light, and then create a lighter green. That's not quite right yet. So he's got some funky bumps on him. And not quite enough. I took too much of the dark away. So let's go back in here with that. And maybe it needs a little bit more of a hint of what's going on with that. Let's see. See if I can kind of get it to not be so wacky in that one section. What happened is a lot of that pink and red was bubbled in there, and it's mixing so oddly with the paint on top that it's just starts looking funky. Okay. And I can start bringing some light into this. And even in here. And I want to leave some of the stuff going on in there, like that, those little pieces of orange. But let's try to give it a neutralish kind of background on here. So same brush, I'm just going to take some of the blue, some of the red, and then add it in with my white, or add some white to it. Make a really purpley gray color. Now this may make it not very exciting, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it. And we may need to add some darks, because I really love the pink purple behind there. I almost feel like I should just leave it instead of dulling it up with something like what I'm doing down here. It almost feels like that kind of sunset if I leave it, which is super fun. So let's go a different direction and put some dark down here. I like that instead. Like we don't know what's going on back there. It's nice and dark. And let's add some more of those dark darks. And this is just ultramarine and the Pyrrole Scarlet. It gives you a really nice dark color. I can just pop that in a few little places where it needs to get really, really dark. Maybe back in here a little bit. Maybe even in here. Maybe down here. And look at that, we got a cactus. I mean, it's not, I think we need a little more light on this one edge. It's fun, it's almost abstract, which I think is fun. Fun, fun, fun. And I can smooth out some of these. I think this needs a little lighter green right in here. So I made it just too much. Again, that big dot of stuff is still peeking up. That red keeps bleeding through right in here. Okay. All right, guys. So there's that one. We kind of painted something on there. I do like a lot this leaving the hot pink background. That's super fun. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it like that because I like it so much. Give you a little bit of a close up. Oh, you know what we don't have on here are the little, almost like the little dots in the red colors. So there's some hints of, we could put pink in here if we wanted, which is already in there. So I can put a little more red here and there on some of these edges, which I like. Throwing that in, that's fun. But if I take these little knobbies, there's the prickly pear knobby things. So you've got little dots. And I'm kind of paying attention to see how this pattern goes. Like, I'm looking and I'm going, wow, there really is a pattern to it, which I don't think I ever realized before. So if I look at this one right here and I go, okay, if I start on this one and I go 1, 2, 3. Now look at this. They're all in a row. So I don't just put dots anywhere. Look. 3. Space them out. 1, 2. It's like a grid. I mean, they're actually in a grid. And I never noticed that before, guys. So something interesting that's new. This one's a little more, I hear her crying out in the hall. That is so funny. I feel like bad mom of the century. 1, 2. So if these guys come down here and I space them out, so that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's also spaced out like this. 3, 4, and everything will mirror that on the flat side. Does she need in? So here we go here. And then this one too. Here we'll do this one, which is kind of... Annie, see, I'm so glad you're watching. I can't believe you just listened to me. That is so wild. But thank you so much. So my daughter, you guys are going to love this, tells me, she said, Mom, there's a new movie coming out on Prime, and this is so funny. Oh, I've laughed so hard. And she's like, I couldn't help but think that this is you. So it's, gosh, who is it? Is it Meryl Streep? Or is it, I can't remember who it is. But there's a new movie coming out on Prime, and it's about a mom who has had enough. Her family, you know, like she does everything. And I think it's a holiday. I don't know if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or something. Anyway, she just kind of quits on the family and goes on a trip during the holiday and leaves them on their own. And she goes, I can so see you doing that because I've been whining about Thanksgiving. Well, for like 2 months, I've been whining about Thanksgiving. I don't want to cook. And why do I have to do all this stuff? And everybody else gets to show up and just eat. And so I, you know, all the moms out there, maybe we'll all go on a little vacation together. But I just cracked up. I thought it was so funny. Since I've been, like, were they listening? And then they made a movie about my ongoing whining. I don't know. So that's my story. Okay, this guy. There's one here. Here. And these aren't perfect, but it gives you the idea. And like things you notice when you start looking at the way they grow. Like if I go down in here and there, and there would have been one there and there and there. And I think I got off on one, but that's okay. So close enough. Gives me the idea of what I need to be doing. And even in this, like here and then here and then here. And then I could geek out on them completely and really try to mess with the variation. Like they may have a little light on one side, so I'd come in here and grab some light yellow white. Maybe, you know, and then go, okay, well this one has like, it's a little bit of a white around that edge right there. And really start looking at what's going on with each. But my intention tonight was not to noodle, and here I am starting to noodle. But it's really kind of fun to take something like this and then start discovering new things. Like I like how this has a highlight in here, this edge in here. can start bringing it out. That. How's the stream been? It seems like we didn't lose any kind of connection, which I really thought we would lose the connection. And Lebowski, you are right. The husband, make the husband cook. I did get a giant butterball turkey. Our son is coming home, and it is not even close to starting to thaw. So I'm starting to panic a little bit about tomorrow. I need to have some counter time. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I don't think I'm going to start anything else tonight. I could paint on another one, but we're almost done with the stream, so I'm just going to end it with a shorter stream. So thank you guys for watching. I think the prickly pears are a lot of fun on color. If you get a chance, you know, try cactus. Try this way of working where you work with some of these dye-based pigments and color a sheet. Here's one that I did that is a completely different set of colors. So look, this is all bright oranges and yellows. And I don't know, you can kind of see the difference. This was more of a tie-dye pink on here. So this will give you just a really different variation of what you can do. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I should be back for dinos. I didn't do dinos last Friday, but I did work on my dinosaur piece quite a bit. So I'm trying to get it resolved as much as I can before bringing that guy back on. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you get to relax a little bit and not have to cook the whole holiday. Bye, everybody.